So she assumes it's because of racism? Coming right up. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Common Sense Logic Reason. And as always, I want to say thank y'all for joining me today. So, I'm a huge fan of Brandon Tatum. I've been a huge fan of his since I first heard of him about maybe 6 years ago. And it's never stirred me wrong. I don't agree with everything that he says, but I do agree with most of what he says, And he just, like I said, Brandon Tatum just come off as a straight up, real, honest dude. And he just tells it like it is. And like I said, you can't go wrong with anyone who does this. We need more honesty in this world and truth and real people in this world. But he was on a panel of blacks, and this was a panel of all black people. I don't even know what this panel was. And it appears that the audience were mostly black. And whenever you have a panel of all black people, you're going to get cries of racism, you're going to get black victimhood, and well, that's exactly what we got. Now, there was a black woman who was on a panel who cried about racism and discrimination and all this, and they asked her, well, when were you discriminated against? So she claimed that she was discriminated against when it comes down to banking.
I still understand that there are systematic things in this country that are against me. And I don't care how people look at that. I look in the banking. I talked about that earlier. The ability to...
No, for you. For
me. I'm saying banking. Yes, specifically. So just to give you a real life example, in 2020, during the pandemic, I went to my bank. I have good credit. I've paid back my student loans. I don't have any outstanding debt to income ratio, and I could not get $60,000. And I asked my bank, why was I denied? A person who has A1 credit, don't have any student loans, I have 2 or 3 properties. Why am I being denied a $60,000 personal loan? And you know what?
They said because you're black?
They didn't give me an answer.
Well, how do you know it's because you're black?
What I'm saying is, wait a minute. There are no indicators. How do you know it's because of the color of your skin? What I'm saying is, there are no indicators for why I should have been denied. That's what I'm saying.
Do you know that any white people have been denied with the same qualifications?
I don't know, because I didn't go out and poll white people.
There's no way.
This isn't a conversation about white denied with no reason given.
As a black person.
That's what I'm. As a black person,
that happened to you.
I'm saying that happened to me. What I'm saying is, yes. I'm saying it happened.
Okay.
And I happen to be black, yes.
Now, I talk about the concept of the brainwashed blacks all the time, and like I say, here's a perfect example of it. This black female is absolutely brainwashed by race. Now, she assumed that she was denied this loan for no other reason than the fact that she's black. Now, she admits she has no evidence of this. She said that she didn't poll anybody to see, okay, well then how would you know that is all because of racism? Don't you? Okay, she said that they didn't tell her why she didn't get the loan. Again, well then how do you know why you didn't get the loan? How do you know what criteria that they use? What method did they use to decide whether or not to approve this or deny this loan? And did everybody else who fall in the same situation that she was, in the same conditions that she was, were they also denied? I mean, this is information that you have to have before you start going out rushing and saying that it's just automatically racism. But unfortunately, with too many blacks, they just automatically jump the gun and say everything is race. Anytime that black people don't get something that they want and white folks are involved in it, it's racism. It's just a knee-jerk reaction. But she, like I said, she admitted she had no evidence of this. But yet you just jumping the gun and saying that it was race. You have no clue what the real reason or why you were turned down. You have no evidence of who's been turned down for loans during COVID. You just assume that, well, you were turned down because you're black. And this is no different than when you hear cries among black people talk about, well, I filled out the application and I didn't get a call back. It's racism. They assume this because they have no idea whatsoever who got the job. They don't do no follow-up. They don't know who got called back. They don't know who got the job. They just assume it's race. Again, this woman is completely brainwashed, and she's proven it. You make that ridiculous claim, hyping race, and you admit that you have no evidence of it. This is one of the biggest problems with blacks, is victimhood. It's beyond ridiculous with blacks. Especially a black woman who's bragging about how she's doing well for herself. If she is, then I congratulate her. But why are you hyping this black victimhood? How about you leave the black victimhood behind? Just don't get it. No, I do get it. As I talk about this all the time. Black people are brainwashed, and I say that, the typical black person in America, from the time that they're born to the time that they become an adult at the age of 18, they've been so indoctrinated with nonsense about racism and a white man out to get us, police officers out about to get us. By the time they become an adult, that you believe it. Again, as the old saying goes, if you tell the lie big enough, long enough, and loud enough, eventually that people will accept the lie as true. Too many black people have accepted the lie of America being a racist country and a racist nation and a racist society as being true, and that's a problem.
What I'm saying is the same grace that you're asking me to give the bank and saying that maybe it didn't happen because I'm black, I'm asking for that same grace to say that absolutely could have been a qualifier in their decision to deny me, but they didn't give me that information. And so also just asking you to consider is that it also could have been my race. That's all I'm asking you to consider. I'm asking you to consider that as well.
I think that's fair to consider that, and I will, but we cannot make the determination, right? But we'll consider it, in this.
Well, actually, it's not fair to consider racism at all, because the fact that we have no evidence that it's racism, and I don't consider anything that we don't have the evidence or any evidence to back up. You have to have evidence of some type of reason to assume something, and she has no reason whatsoever to assume that it was because of racism. Again, she's already admitted that she has no evidence that it was because of racism, and she just make this ridiculous assumption just because she's brainwashed. Again, this woman is absolutely brainwashed. Anytime this woman is in a situation where she doesn't get something and white people are involved, she's immediately going to cry race. This is brainwashing, y'all. But there is no evidence of any racism in what she's talking about. Now, this pretty much sums up what racism is for black people in America. It's pretty much non-existent. And when I say non-existent, I mean that racism is not stopping any black person from doing achieving anything. Black people are not hindered at all because of no racism. Does racism exist? I'm sure you can find some racist white person out there who don't like black people just because they're black, or who believe that they're superior because they're white. But then you can find black people who believe that they're superior because they're black. The fact is that there's no black person in the United States of America who can say that they're being barred from anything in America, from achieving anything because they're black. There's absolutely all the evidence in the world that says otherwise. But like I said, this just sums up what racism really truly is for black people in America. That's all it is. It's something that black people have been indoctrinated with, they've been brainwashed with, and it's something that only exists but in their heads. And like I said, here's your evidence. So when I talk about the concept of the brainwashed blacks will disagree, but they will consistently provide you evidence of what I say is true. And here's more evidence of black brainwashing. There's nothing else there's nothing else you can call it. But anyway, y'all, like I said, it's my 2 cents on this particular interview. This woman is brainwashed, y'all. And as always, until next time.